Hello everybody, this is Garden Jen from Garden Jen's Journey. Just wanted to do a video today on something that is very dear to my heart. And that something is talking about depression. Now depression affects many people across the world. And it's not a fun subject to talk about, but it's a necessary subject to talk about. Many times people who are suffering from depression don't even realize it. It's not until somebody says something that they might even have a clue that they're dealing with it. And that was the case for me this past week. I've been through depression before. I grew up with depression as an adolescent and quite a few years into my adult life. And then I found healing when I started attending church. And I'll go into a little bit more of that later. But anyways, I had been healed for a long time from depression. I had taken antidepressants for a long time when I was an adult, but they didn't really work for me. It wasn't until I started attending church that my depression and my anxiety were gone. But anyways, getting back to the now, I was noticing that I wasn't feeling very well lately. I was extremely tired, really fatigued, very irritable and things. And so I was asking some friends of mine, hey, I'm not feeling quite right. This is what's going on. Can you shoot me some ideas on what I might be dealing with? And the reason why I ask people questions is because I don't necessarily trust healthcare providers. I've had a hard time with healthcare providers either not really looking into things or looking into something that has completely nothing to do with what I'm dealing with, or just not even really giving it a good look into sometimes. And I hope that's not the case with your healthcare providers. I hope you have a great healthcare provider. I do know there's some out there. Just my luck hasn't been that way. Anyways, I wanted to be able to go to my healthcare provider with an idea of what I might be struggling with, so we could look into different things and such. Anyways, a lot of my friends who are health-minded, health professionals or know a lot about health, suggested that my vitamins are low. My vitamin D, my iron, and my B12 is probably low, and that's why I'm really tired. And when I say really tired, I don't just mean, I just need to take a nap for a few minutes and I'll be okay. No, I'm talking when I get up to go cook a meal, or I go to change over the laundry from the washer to the dryer and put a new load in the washer, or just simple things like that, trying to wash some dishes. I am so exhausted from that I have to sit down and I might actually fall asleep in the chair for a little while because I am so tired. So that's the kind of tired I'm talking about. Anyways, they were suggesting that I have some blood work done. That my iron, my B12, and my vitamin D might be quite low, and that might be the case. I should go get some blood work done. But to be honest, I don't know if you guys deal with it, but I do. My body is chronically low on those items. Ever since I had my children, I have been low on iron. I live in the northern states, so my vitamin D is quite often below par. And my B12, I know I'm not eating enough supplements to have that in a good ratio either, so usually that's low. So my body is chronically low on that. It kind of functions that way. I'm not saying it's the best function, but my body's used to that. So I knew that there was something a little bit more than just my iron and my B12 and my vitamin D being low. And then I had some other friends of mine say, that could be a sign of depression. And when I saw that word typed across my screen, not once, not twice, but quite a few times, that people are saying, this sounds like depression. You might want to get that looked into. I had to do some self-reflection. Now, I know that something is wrong, and I want to get it fixed. I know that I shouldn't be tired, and I know I shouldn't be so irritable, and I'm tired of being that way. And so I wanted to get it fixed. So when people said, hey, this sounds like you might be dealing with depression, I didn't like that word because it's an ugly word. But at the same time, I had to really think. I had to really start doing some analyzing and going, is this indeed what I'm dealing with? Could this be the cause of not only my tiredness, but some other issues that really I wasn't thinking about? As again, I said it was very irritable. Things that I like to do, my different crafts and things to do, my gardening, spending time with my pets. I just didn't find enjoyment in it, and I just didn't want to do it. So, but I wasn't thinking about those things, and so anyways, all those flags were there that said, hey, you're starting to go down that path. You're starting to get into that pit of depression again. So when somebody mentioned depression, and I did some self-reflection, I realized, you know what? This is where I'm at. This is what I'm dealing with. I had a label. It wasn't a nice label. It was an ugly label, but it was a label of something that I could go, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. Now let's work on healing from it. Let's work on fixing the issue. And so I know for myself personally, antidepressants don't work. Going to the mental health clinic did not work for me. I was in therapy for years, and it works for some people. It's great, but for me, it didn't work. And so I knew that I had to look at other avenues, and I knew from before, when I had healed before from depression, that I could do it naturally. That I've done it before, I can do it again. And the major cause of me being healed before was that I started attending a church it was a great environment to be in, and it helped me heal with the different uh, things that I was dealing with, the different I can't even think of the words right now, the insecurities that I was dealing with. When I started attending church, it started being surrounded by people who were genuine in their interest for me, their love for me, and that connection to God that helped me find my worth as far as that. Because when you're depressed, you really have no worth. You really have no self-worth, any identity in that at all. And so when I found that worth and stuff and found a good uplifting family, my depression and things had gone away. So I knew that that could be the case again, that I could heal from this, I could get beyond this debilitating disorder. And it is very debilitating, very much debilitating, because it sucks the life force right out of you. It takes away your joy. It takes away your ability to deal with things with a clear mind. I know that I've made some choices lately that have greatly impacted my depression because they weren't the best choices to make, and so they only compounded the issues that I'm dealing with. And so I know that I can fix this in a way naturally. And one of the first things that I needed to realize is I've kind of separated from my church family and from God. And I didn't do that intentionally, but it does happen. And the enemy, Satan out there, makes it a point to make that happen. So you lose that connection. So you end up in despair or whatever. But one of the things I noticed is my son's been very ill. I've been ill. I haven't been feeling well. So I've missed quite a bit of church, quite a bit of social functions when I'm interacting with my church family. And so that really separated me from that spiritual connection. And not wanting to spend time reading the Bible or spend time doing devotions. I didn't have that desire. So I'm quite separated from the source of my joy and my happiness and the source of what can take away my fear and my anxiety and my stress. I'm quite separated from that. So I knew that that was one of my key components, and that's what healed me before, is being connected with the Lord. But also besides that, I mean that's a big part of the healing process. But besides that, being in the northern states, we don't get enough sunlight in through the winter at all, and so my vitamin D is very low. And not having the sun gives you that joy, gives you the feeling of happiness just seeing the sun itself. And having dreary days where it's gloomy and dark and windy and ugh, just really compounds to the emotional problems. So I need to get a light box that will help make things bright and cheery again, and help my vitamin D increase in my system. But also I have to look at my nutrition. And nutrition is a big key as well, because um, we are either nourishing our brains or we are starving our brains. And I have trouble with nutrition. That's why I started this journey, is I realized that I'm having a hard time with my nutrition, and whether it just be because I'm overweight, or I notice that I struggle with eating this or eating that, or not eating this or eating that. Nutrition is a key struggle that I deal with. And so I have to really reflect on that as well. What am I eating? What am I not eating? And so I might be eating things that are causing problems with my brain being sluggish, um, or not eating things that are starving my brain and preventing it from working so well. And one of the things is not getting enough omega 3s. And you really need omega 3s for your body to function well. And omega 3s can be found in many plant-based items like flaxseed, almonds, walnuts, chia seeds, hemp seeds. I think somebody even said spinach, which is also a great source of iron. So I need to really start increasing my intake of those to help my brain function better. Water. Water is another key thing. I deal with dehydration a lot because I don't drink enough. And so water can not only hinder weight loss and contribute to weight gain, but it also doesn't allow your brain to work very well. Your brain works through a liquid medium, and without that liquid, your brain runs sluggish. And your body's made of 70% water. So if you're not getting enough water, your body's not going to run right. So, anyways, there's quite a few things already. I need to reconnect with God. I need to get some sort of sunlight, or light that mimics sunlight during the wintertime. I need to work on my nutrition and increase my water again, because I'm not doing well increasing my water. And then another thing to look at, and I got this information watching Dr. Neil Nedley, great guy. But anyways, that I need to examine things in my life and see what might be triggering different emotional problems that might be compounding. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but Dr. Neil Nedley is a psychiatrist who deals with depression. He actually runs a clinic over in California, Neil Nedley Health Centers, or Nedley Health Centers or Solutions. And you can look that up online. You can look up his book that he wrote on depression called Depression, The Way Out. Great book, has lots of recipes in it on foods that will help your brain work better to help you get rid of the depression. Anyways, excuse me, I forgot where I was going with this. But, oh yes, analyzing my life and really taking a look at different things and seeing, is there things that were traumatic in my life, or key emotional things in my life that I really haven't dealt with fully, and they're kind of stuck back in my mind and regurgitating emotions that I haven't dealt with, so they're compounding and making me feel miserable. And so I had to think about that. I think I'm doing great. I'm going through life every day, and I haven't killed myself yet. And I say that lightly but heavily at the same time. I have been suicidal before. I've had suicidal thoughts. I used to be a cutter. I dealt with things that way. And so for me, if I make it through a day without killing myself or without doing any bodily harm or things, to me, that's a good day. I'm doing just fine. So take it as I mean it in that function. It's to me that is a good thing. It's a real goal for me. That if I make it through the day and I'm still alive, I'm doing just fine. And it's not a good goal to try to say, okay, that is a benchmark of making it through the day. Just because I'm still here, just because I haven't committed suicide, or just because I haven't done any self mutilation, or turned my house upside down um, in a fit of rage, because it's happened before. Just because those things haven't happened still does not mean that I'm dealing with things appropriately. And that's when I have to realize, okay, am I really dealing with things appropriately? And so when I started really analyzing, okay, why am I so depressed? What's causing some issues? Life's pretty good, and it is. God's taking care of a lot of things. I've seen a lot of miracles happen, even in just the last couple of weeks. A lot of ways that God has provided. God has answered prayer. A lot of things are good right now, but there's still things that happen in life that maybe I haven't dealt with, and I need to think about those things and deal with them so I can move on. And so I've been thinking, okay, what is it? What traumatic things have happened? What stressful things have happened that maybe I didn't deal with them as fully as I thought I did? That are lingering in the back of my mind, that are just regurgitating, rehashing negative things that are causing me to have depression right now. And a couple of things have happened since the beginning of the year, and I'll just go over a few of them. I've noticed that my short term and my long term memory are severely impaired. I can barely remember what I did this morning, let alone what happened last week, last month, last year. Things of minor detail that maybe people can remember, I can't. And that's very frustrating. I misplace things a lot. I mean, I could set something down, and 5 minutes later, I will have no idea where I've misplaced it. And it can be important things like my phone. I misplace that a lot. My keys. If I don't hang them up right away, if I set them down because I'm in a hurry, I will have no idea where I put them. Um, my undergarments, when I go take a shower and go get dressed, if I set them down somewhere, I can't find them, and then I can't get dressed. So having a memory impairment is very, very stressful, and it makes me very irritable because people want to know, where is this, or why can't you find this, or try to remember where the last place is that you had this, and I can't. I cannot remember, and so it's very hard, and so that is a major problem that I'm dealing with right now. And I have to try to figure out why I'm having such memory problems. And it could be nutrition. It could be as simple as that. But anyways, understanding that that is an issue, a major issue, a major stressor in my life. Okay, so we have that. I have memory problems. Okay. Second thing that we're dealing with is our son. He has some problems that we're dealing with. He's an adolescent going through puberty, all those things, being a teenager and stuff. But he also has some mental things that we are dealing with. He has the ADHD, and so he has dysgraphia, which can make things difficult on trying to teach him things in school, because we homeschool, and trying to do outside chores and things, or inside chores, and get them done correctly. um, can be an issue. And so we're trying to help him, but at the same time, it's very stressful because trying to understand how his brain works, and that we don't understand how his brain works, and so there's this communication problem. So that's very stressful, trying to help our son uh, be able to function in life and being able to function with him, because he works on a completely different brain wave than we do. So that's a stressor. Um, and then my husband was laid off, and we knew that that was coming, and we were preparing for it. We were putting money aside, and preparing for him being laid off, because he's laid off in the winter, generally because construction here in the northern states slows down. There's not a lot of outside construction when it's freezing cold, but that's somewhat of a stressor, because funds are tight for us when he's off work. We have a lot of bills that have to be paid. I mean, you have to pay rent, you have to pay for your lights, you have to pay for your phone bill, you have to put food on the table, you have to put toilet paper in the bathroom. Um, those things are kind of stressful. So that's a minor stressor. And then another major stressful event that happened just recently is my husband's father had passed away, and it wasn't an easy passing. It wasn't easy at all for the family at large. We're not just the only ones dealing with it. There's other siblings and others who are dealing with it as well. But my father-in-law had a major stroke, and then that stroke led to his death ultimately. And so the time period between the stroke and his death was a little bit lengthy period, and it was difficult because in a way he was suffering, and it was difficult to watch him linger on day after day with his body that was no longer functioning due to the debilitative stroke he had, and also not knowing if he wasn't a church man at all. He used the Lord's name as a derogatory word and things like that. He wasn't very churchy at all. And for a couple of us siblings who are very connected with church and things and know Jesus, and know that there's something beyond the grave, um, it was kind of in the back of our minds. Does Dad know Jesus? Will Dad be in heaven, or will we miss him because he doesn't know Jesus? And so, not only dealing with Dad's dying, but wondering if Dad's going to be in heaven was kind of a thought we were dealing with as well. So Dad died, and I thought I was doing well with that. I mean, death happens. It's not supposed to happen, but it happens. It's just a part of the sin-filled world, and I know that there's something beyond the grave. I know that there's something better. And this life's just temporary. I know that, but still, my husband was losing his father. My son was losing his grandfather, who he was trying to learn about, who was trying to have a connection with, and now he's gone. And so it was a major event in our lives. And I don't think I really cried that much, once or twice maybe. Um, but I was strong for my family. Um, and so when I think about that I was strong for my family and things, but did I actually deal with the death as other people would? And I realized for a couple times that this death still has value. It still has emotional baggage, so to speak, that I haven't really gone through and taken care of properly. So I can say, okay, this has happened. We're dealing with it. All right, it's over. Now let's move on. And death is never easy for anybody. But when you can't move on when it's stuck um, in the back of your brain, in your subconscious, and you don't deal with it, it's going to drag you down. Whether or not you believe in Christ and you know that this is just a part of life or whatever, you still have to deal with it. And so I realized that that was an issue too, that I really haven't dealt head on with Dad's death and the whole situation with that. And then also on top of that, Dad's death, there came a bill that now that we're going to have to be responsible for. That's quite a hefty bill, and our budget's tight enough already, especially with my husband being laid off. And now we have this other hefty bill that we can't pay right now. So going, oh boy, now what? But then when I put it all back in its context, when I realized where all the depression lies for me, the major part of it was started out first by being disconnected from the Lord, because I found that with connection and trusting in the Lord and knowing that things are going to be okay because He's got it covered, that my stability was gone. The Lord is stable. In this spinning world of chaos, the Lord is stable. He never changes. He never goes anywhere. So when I lost my connection with Him, trying to deal with everything else was gone. And this had really impacted my life. Not only am I tired, not only am I irritable, not only have I lost interest in doing things for my weight journey. I haven't been able to go to the gym because I've been under the weather and I haven't felt like going. And so depression impacts a lot of different facets of your life. And so that's why it's so important to realize that you have depression and realize that you need to make changes in order to fix it. So I've been writing little notes to myself about how we're going to approach this thing head on that I'm dealing with. That I need to drink more water to hydrate my body and my brain. I need to really start meal planning better, to actually plan my meals, because there's certain things that I need to eat and certain things I don't need to eat to help me function. And if I'm not getting the balanced nutrition, then my brain's not going to work right. So I need to drink water. I need to eat better. I need to get out and exercise, whether I feel like it or not, because that will help my body function better, get the blood circulating and things like that, and that'll help me feel better. I need to get a light that will help reproduce the sun's rays to bring back the endorphins and the dopamine and things that the sunlight naturally gives. And then I need to make sure that whatever stressors are in my life, that I deal with them accordingly, that I don't just, pass them off and say, oh, no worries, God's got this kind of thing. And God's got this. He does. But if you don't allow yourself to have those natural emotions that your body would naturally have tied to this event or that event or this stressor, you naturally go, oh, that's kind of sad, or that makes me angry, or that makes me happy. If you're not connected emotionally at all, that's only going to cause you to be depressed because you're not dealing with things correctly. So anyways, those things are very important, and not only mentally, but when you're dealing with struggles with weight, with nutrition and things like that, having depression compounds the issue, and vice versa. Being overweight causes depression, and depression causes overweightness. And so it's a catch-22. And so it's very important that if you think you have depression, if you think that something's not quite right, that you sit back, you analyze things, and really, really take an honest look at your life and see where things need to change. And don't go through it alone. Have that connection with people. If you don't have a church family, find one, or have some friends that you can trust that will help pull you through, help give you the sense of worth and the encouragement to pull yourself out of the pit, because it's not fun being in the pit, not only for yourself but for people around you. They don't like seeing you struggle, and they want to help you, but they don't know how to help you because depression is very difficult to deal with on the outside as well as yourself, because you don't know how to help, because everything that they do doesn't work. So do yourself a favor, do others a favor as well by letting them help you. But acknowledge that there is something wrong and then work to fixing that something. That way you can feel better, and you can get on with your life, get on with your journey, and make it a good one. So that's my tidbit today. I hope it's been a blessing to you. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And I'll leave the link to Dr. Nedley's website below in the description box as well, if you want more information on that. So anyways, this is Garden Jen from Garden Jen's Journey. Please have a blessed day. Bye-bye now.